5 pillars of emotional health: your psychology, the study of yourself, the truth systems, the beliefs that you have about yourself and the world around you. This is the lens through which we see the world. Every input, every sensory input that we take in, every pattern that we recognize from those sensory inputs, and all the meanings that we have created about that over the course of our lifetime, how can we examine those to see which ones are serving us and which ones don't? Number 2, relationships. Anyone that's done any personal development work knows, right? You're the average of the 5 people and ideas that you spend the most time with. That drastically impacts your emotional health. It's not just the people, but it's the mentality, the approach that they take to life. And when you up-level that group, things change. 95%, we talked about the energetic needs of changing, right? It's difficult. 95% of people are what I call past protectors. We've created a construct, a lens through which we see the world. We don't want to change that because it takes effort. There's nothing wrong with anyone. Nothing is wrong. Actually, you're being a human being the way we were designed to be.
Yeah, that's how
right?
you're
There's
supposed
absolutely
to function.
nothing wrong. However, it may not serve us, and so we protect the past. And this is generally why things like political views, musical taste, stuff like that don't change that much over the course of our lifetime.
Right.
We'll just say 90s music was the best. Okay, 80s music was pretty good too. Fine. It's things like that. 5% of people are what I would call growth seekers. People that will constantly question what they know, examine the construct through which they see things or experience things, and say, is this true? Am I learning something new that I ought to revise what I feel about myself or this person or that group or this situation, whatever it is, and to be conscious of that. So if 1 out of 20 people is a growth seeker, we got to surround ourselves with more growth seekers. Number 3, nutrition. 90% of the neurotransmitters, the chemical messengers that travel between neurons that regulate how we think, act, and feel, we outsourced that work millions of years ago. We don't make most of them. The bacteria, viruses, fungi, protozoa, all these things that live in our gut, called the gut microbiota, their genetic material is called the gut microbiome, codes for all of these 90 to 95% of the neurotransmitters, the serotonin, dopamine, GABA, etc., 39 of them. And our gut health is so intricately tied to our emotional health. If you had a penny for every one of those organisms that live in our gut, right, and we started making a tower, that tower would go from here to the moon and back 143 times.
What the heck?
It is. And that alone, as we're learning in the research just in the last few years, is a huge reason for why, you and I might react to, let's say, strawberries completely differently. If you look at our genetic material, us and a chimpanzee are different by 1.5% of our genes. Imagine you and me, it's like almost nothing. And yet there is a lot of how we react to the world around us that's a little bit different, right? And as we start to explore the microbiome, that's really critical. Now, you treat your gut, your emotional health improves, but so does immune function, so does metabolic balance, so does hormone balance.
That's crazy.
And it's incredibly powerful. And number 4, sleep. We talked about it a little bit earlier. It's the first thing to go when we're busy. But we talked about we're made for nature. We sleep 1/3 of our lifetime. If we're out in nature and we're sleeping, we're susceptible to predators, natural disasters, competing tribes, whatever it is, right? And yet we still do it. Why? Maybe it's important. Maybe we need this, right?
Right.
And as a recovering Team No Sleep guy myself, it has been the biggest factor to restoring a lot of my own hormone balance was really learning how to get good sleep. So that's powerful. So number 5 pillar of emotional health is body movement. Motion dictates emotion. And not necessarily just from an exercise standpoint. If you look at the blue zones or areas in the world that people have the highest concentration of centenarians, which are people who live to 100 years old and beyond. And they're all across the world, whether it's Sardinia, Loma Linda, California, Okinawa, Japan. And when you look at the aspects of their lifestyle, what are some of the reasons why they live so long? Because again, genetically, they're very diverse. As you look at the body movement area, it's not necessarily that they exercise all the time. It's that they're in constant low-grade motion. Maybe they're working in the fields. Maybe they walk or bike to the store. Things that keep them just moving. And when we are not feeling our best and we need a quick shift in how we're feeling, body movement can be the way to shift out of a negative state and into something that's a little bit more empowered. How can we incorporate a little bit more body movement, low grade body movement, into our daily life? You know, whether it's using a sit stand desk or whether it's when our watches and Fitbits and stuff tell us it's been an hour, go walk for a few minutes. Do it, actually do it.
But
And
even just for a few
those things make a
minutes.
big difference. Yeah, just it breaks the stagnation. And so psychology, relationships, nutrition, sleep, body movement, that's the fundamental core that I'm talking about throughout the book.